digital heroes in a half shelter power. Here we go, it's the lean green ninja turtle.
Welcome back to Off Air, everybody. I love Motown. But more than I love Motown music, I love the Ninja Turtles. You're welcome.
You're welcome for that.
That was AI-generated Motown Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who I think is, supposed to be King Williamness.
But
I'm assuming that's a
that's just the artist.
yeah,
Like,
that's the at.
Oh, that's the actual at?
That's the actual channel that made this.
Right.
So I wanted to open up with this because Jake just showed me this, and then we started to get into a discussion about it. But and again, you guys might not. This probably isn't gonna super interest you guys, but the whole Drake and Kendrick beef that's been going on, or that was going on.
The one where Drake talks about fucking children.
Yes,
Okay.
that exact one.
I know that one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't bring it in for a Monday because it's a pretty big story, but also it's like not big enough.
If
I don't
there's
know.
anyone to talk about the rap game,
Right.
it's us.
I think it
Right.
just confirms what everybody's known about Drake.
that he touches children.
That he's a fucking sketchy dude.
But there was a producer, Metro Boomin, who made like a diss track instrumental, and he used the sample that he used. It goes, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy.
Yep.
That is an AI Motown diss song, and
Interesting.
And he sampled that to make the beat for the diss. So like that's why when you brought this up, I was like, oh, we got to talk about, because it's interesting how, like, my first thought was, can we? Yeah.
Hang on, this is it?
I don't know if
This is the same guy.
I would assume that is what Metro Boomin used to sample.
Okay, because BBL Drizzy is by the same AI guy that we just listened
Oh,
to.
wow.
Thing.
But so I've known about this Motown AI trend that's been going around because first of all, it's interesting. I like Motown music, but like it's funny, it's topical. But the biggest thing that I knew about it was that there was a real, actual like producer who sampled one of these AI Motown songs, and it became a big song. Like,
Yeah.
it was a big point in the quote unquote rap beef when that song dropped.
Yeah, and it went big on social media too.
Right. It's just interesting that okay, so now the first one, the Santa Maria or whatever, the first ship that we're seeing is Motown music being all AI produced. 100% AI, any song you want, any words, whatever. You can have it say whatever you want, you can make it whatever song you want. Motown is the first genre that it's quote unquote taken over. What is the next one that we're going to see, and how does this...
It'll be country.
Yeah, and I could see like you.
And I feel like we've seen slivers of country.
Yeah.
Like before the AI music thing was big, we'd see like, oh, I had an artificial intelligence write a country song, and here's what it was.
Right.
I don't think it took off like Motown did.
Right.
But I feel like you're right. It could be the next big.
Yeah.
I'm also messaging this guy right now to see if we can get his music on WSRR. So.
Yeah, sure. But it's very interesting to see how quickly something like that took off and then got like repurposed so quickly. The turnover time for that is so... Normally it's like they sample a song that came out in the 70s and it took them 30, 40 years for them to find that song and then sample it.
Right.
I know in politics, a lot of like the campaign like goofy songs that you hear are AI made.
That's interesting.
So like the ones that like Trump use,
Sure.
those are made by AI.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole AI music industry is getting very interesting to me with how like expressive or how vast it's getting, how complex it's getting so quickly. Which I guess that's AI, that's what it's supposed to do.
But that's
like,
going to be what shuts AI down. Because if it takes money out of our pocket, that's fine. But when it starts taking money out of famous people's pockets, that's when they bitch and moan and they go on strike.
See, so we talked about this. We were solving the world's problems today on Styles Rebel Radio. That's
All of
what we
them.
were doing. We solved all the world's problems. One of them was destructive AI, was like the topic that we had to. And I am truly of the belief that it's like a Pandora's box situation of you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. what now that the world has been introduced to AI and we know about it, and we have I was explaining it like this. The developers and like the not gearheads, that's not the term, but like the mechanical
Yeah.
computer engineer, like the people who work on computer hardware and are developing the video games that we play, they now have access to AI. And they can create it. It might not be like a chatbot that gets updated every 3 years because it's Google owned and funded, and so they
Right.
have, and it has a new voice and sounds cooler. It's gonna be like, no, I made this AI tool that helps me breach this system or these kinds of firewalls, and I'm not giving. Why would I make this public? I'm not giving people access to this, but
Right.
I have it, and I'm going to use it for my own purposes. We're never going to be able to get rid of AI in that sense. We might be able to regulate it, and like the chatbots that Google or Meta, whatever releases, like might have more restrictions as time goes on, and like sure they'll be able to do cool things, but we won't be able to ask them, what's the nuclear codes, or like we won't be able to
Right.
ask them serious questions and get serious answers because of the restrictions that these big companies will put on them. But I think there will always be independent developers and people who are just good with computers who will know how to access AI and program it to their needs. And like I was explaining, like I could see in 10 years from now, maybe you can't buy AI software legally, but you can go to like the dark web and buy it because maybe it's the government has restricted it or something like that.
That's what I think is going to end up happening.
Like it's gonna become a legal black market situation.
Right.
It's not gonna go away. You're never gonna be able to make it go away. But you can quote unquote restrict the like popular AIs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, we're seeing it with TikTok where they're going, we don't like the information that's being stored. We don't like the information that's shared.
Mhm.
We're going to shut it down. We're seeing it in other things where, if you don't agree or, you don't like something or someone, you do everything you can to shut them down.
Right.
I think, and it's tricky because, AI doesn't have rights, but the people who are using it do.
Right.
So, but this is another example to me, what I was saying before with instead of advancing, things to help us, we just focus on entertainment.
Yes.
Like, we could use AI to do incredible things for us.
Right.
And instead, not hating on it, but we're making Motown Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is a
Right.
great fucking song. don't
Right.
get me
It's
wrong.
funny. It's
awesome.
cool, but
Right.
we're twiddling our thumbs here.
Right. But that's been our MO for the last 70 years.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
piss or get off the pot, right? Let's use AI for
no,
something,
right.
or let's give up on AI.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that there are people who are using AI for things, but that's where you see the restrictions, and that's where maybe like the chatbots overpower. Because that's the thing you hear about the most, I think, is the chatbots and the things that talk back to you,
Yeah.
and like not necessarily the AI that makes your life easier or does something. It's like almost a tool for
Yeah.
you that you use to clean up something, or
Well, we talked about it 2 or 3 weeks ago on the Rebel Radio show of there was AI that is specifically tasked for finding new formulas for drugs.
right
Like it's mass producing new drug formulas
that
and
we
things
can't even conceive.
right to try and cure things that we can't cure.
Right.
And the reason that we said the negative side of it would probably be, okay, so when it does find the cure for cancer, before we even know about it, Microsoft or someone will step in and buy it out, and we're gonna have to buy the Microsoft shot for cancer now
Right.
for $1,500,000,
Right.
right?
So like Elon, we were just talking about Elon.
Mm-hmm.
Elon will sit there and talk about how, AI is an incredible thing because you could do this, 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 and this. And then you hear him talk and he goes, but I think we need to take like a year off from
Right.
fucking around with AI.
Right.
So if that's the case, then it's not great. Like if
Yeah.
you're worried that something is about to become too powerful, then it's not great.
Right.
Well, and I think like I feel like I've heard that rhetoric so much from these big higher up Silicon Valley, business owners who are like, okay, AI is cool and it can be helpful in the right hands, but I think we need to slow down and put more restrictions, and like it's getting more and more daunting and less like, haha, this is spooky. It's
Yeah.
more like, all right, guys, AI isn't cool to me anymore. Like AI is useful to me in certain aspects, but it's becoming less. Like the novelness is
Yeah.
definitely starting to wear off. I know what it can do. I understand it conceptually.
Right.
It's-
I don't need to have AI make a picture of me with, a cool, silly outfit on and,
Yeah.
and funny hair or
Yep.
something. I don't need it to do that.
To me-
to me, I'm done with that.
To me, that's the powers that be trying to make us more comfortable with it. So when
Right.
it does start to become more advanced,
Right.
and we don't think of it as scary AI, we think of it as, oh, that thing that made me look like I was in high school again.
Right.
That's what
right.
it's like numbing our
Right.
sense of awareness
We're gonna
when
have
it comes
like
to
the
AI.
the Google Vision Pro, and we're gonna look through a mirror, and it's gonna be our avatar
Yeah,
and not us. And we're gonna be
yeah.
like, oh, I
Right.
look good today.
Yeah.
That's super. It's so like, guys, Ready Player One is happening. Guys, we're gonna live in that Ready Player One universe. Like it's going to happen, and we're just kind of like, yeah, well,
Cool. Join me down in the fucking sewers.
right.
We're gonna be one of the sewer dwellers. So.
Ninja Turtles, they're called, Jake.
Yeah.
How many times do you have to go over this?
Me green. Is
But-
that Sonic?
But
Yeah.
It is, but
Oh.
this is entirely AI generated visualizer where it keeps zooming in on the previous picture and recreating another picture off of it. By the way,
Yeah.
is what's playing in the background.
Yeah.
On the subject of the AI music, though, it's an interesting conversation because that's we always sit here and talk about AI is going to be writing movies and scripts and music and producing all this stuff, and we don't need to do it anymore because we're gonna have AI do it, right?
Right.
Writing code, websites, all these things. There is a handful of artists that we play on WSRR radio that I've actively seen on Instagram promoting local and independent music and saying like, look, I've been to this studio. Here's the AI they're using to make this. We're not far off from AI produced music from studios being what's pushed out.
Oh yeah. And I think like you were talking about with political campaigns using AI music, and like you're starting to see bigger companies use AI visuals for their commercials, or a new product might have an AI like background. You know what I mean? Like it's not the forefront, it's not the main image, but they are using AI in their process of displaying things to us
So what-
slowly and gradually, but it's
Yeah.
happening.
So what they're doing, and we talked about it a little bit earlier with how everything is just white walls, all the creativity's gone.
Yeah.
So they're taking creativity away from us visually, and now they're going to take it away from us in things like art,
Yeah.
with music,
Right.
and writing, and acting, and singing. So they're just like, because it's going to get to the point that we're going to have all this AI stuff, and we're going to have supermarkets that have AI cashiers,
Right.
all this different stuff. We're not going to be able to make any money
Right.
like that the whole. And I know a lot of people say that the American dream is dead, and I'm right there with you. That's fine. I get it. But at the same time, we still have that at least a chance of it. But if AI takes over the way that people are saying it's going to, that's gone. Like and the thing is, we can't even be a society of renters then,
Right.
because we won't have jobs.
Right. I think that there's something, and I don't know if I've ever like spoken this. I figured it was just kind of something that we all mutually understood in terms of the AI, but like you can tell when something is made by a human versus when
Yeah.
something is made by an AI.
Right.
Just by looking at it or listening to it, or like you can listen to that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles things, and you might not be able to at first tell that it's AI, but I bet if you listen to it and really like analyzed the music, you probably could.
Well, I mean,
I would.
Right.
we all sat here when it was first pulled up, and the YouTube thumbnail looks like an old 70s Motown album cover, and we all
Right.
went, is that supposed to be a real guy?
Right.
Oh, no, that's just an AI-generated
Are they basing
Motown
it?
singer.
Are they basing it on someone? Or
right.
is it,
We
'cause
all sat here and thought about
Yeah.
it.
clearly there is a like Motown singer reference that they use.
Sure, yeah.
It's probably just a couple of them, and then generically produces that.
Right.
And so like you can tell and like even in like the inflection of one's voice, where they can hit a certain note or sing it in a certain way that their tone or their inflection moves up and down in a specific, that is just innately human, that you can pick up through your ears, that I feel like AI probably will get close, and it probably will get damn near like as
Are
we
you-
get.
Are you thinking about the same thing I am right now?
I might be. What are you thinking about?
Go for it.
The new AI song?
No, I was
Oh.
gonna say I don't think we can because auto-tune. There are a lot of artists that are auto-tuned, and people do not realize it.
Right.
For instance, one that sells out 90,000 tickets whenever she goes to a different city. There's a lot of auto-tune
Right.
there. And I know I'm not going to say the name because everybody freaks out. Like they turn into like manic people whenever she's mentioned. But like you can't tell that some people are auto-tuned unless like T-Pain who's like, "Hey, I'm using auto-tune, here it is."
Right.
But like
Oh, like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, like T Swift.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Like,
have to block this part out because we can't play it. But we'll discuss it right after. Do you have you ever heard of Randy Travis before? 3 Wooden Crosses, Forever and Ever, Amen.
On the right side of the highway.
I'm gonna play you like a couple seconds
Mhm.
of one of his songs. He had a stroke in the mid 2000s. Can't
Mhm.
speak at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like barely can walk. Can't speak at all. He put out a new song last week. It's entirely AI generated. It's his voice. So forgive us, radio listeners, but momentary silence. And
Yeah.
it won't matter to you. We'll be right back.
We'll be back right now.
All right, so we just listened to Randy Travis, and then new 2024, and Randy Travis released a song that's entirely AI.
Post-stroke.
Post-stroke, can't speak, and it's
And like
entirely AI.
there he is there. So
Yeah.
like you could see like he's a wheelchair.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
But it's to the point where like it's putting in his breaths of where he would like breathe, where he would.
I think voice doubling too is where I'm gonna reroute my opinion of like if someone can sing a very good I don't fucking know, you know, some famous singer, Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
If someone can sing a very good Elvis Presley impression, it's not perfect, but it's close enough.
Mhm.
And then they run it through that AI scrubber, that AI voice Elvis Presley modulator. I'm sure that it would be uncanny, like 1-to-1. You know, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Well, now from everything I've read from this, it is entirely machine made. It's
Oh.
not. It's not
It's
a
not
dub.
like a
it's
AI
not-
voice dub.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
they went through, and I'm sure it took a while because I think they physically went in and like adjusted it multiple times
Right.
over different bands. But from everything I've read, this is entirely
Mm,
like no person singing,
right.
which I think is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and
I don't
Yeah.
like that.
And it's released under Randy Travis.
Yeah, I don't like
It
Right.
is canonly one of his songs
Right.
that he sang, even though he never sang it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that counts. I don't think just because he's alive, he gets to release that.
That's what's
But he
crazy.
did.
But this is the
Yeah.
I think this is the first instance of someone has released a song that they never actually sang. And
Yeah.
it's their song, and they have the writing credit, and they are the singer of the song.
That's like Disney releasing like a Darth Vader sung album and using
James Earl Jones.
using James Earl Jones's voice, and James Earl Jones coming out and being like, "Yeah, guys, I released and sang an album. Remember that? Remember when I sang that album?"
So I can't use Chat GPT to write a fucking report if I were in college, but this fucking guy, love you, Randy.
Yeah, he's
But
making
this
millions
fucking
off
guy
it.
can make music. Got it. Okay.
Fuck that guy.
It's just such a fucking wild concept to me because I heard it. I heard it was being talked about,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And at first I thought, oh shit, he can speak again? 'Cause last time I saw, he
Right.
couldn't speak.
Yeah,
He's
and
a
like
non-speaker.
and
Yeah.
and like when he did it was like thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Right.
Like it was like that
Yeah.
where it wasn't Dick Clark bad, but it was close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like my first thought was, oh shit, can he speak? And then I heard they released like the intro, the instrumental first. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be an instrumental. Okay,
Mhm.
I got it. That makes sense. No, they just kind of fucking showed up and dropped this, and
Hey.
they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's AI.
And like,
Yeah.
how do you feel about that as like the spouse of that person?
Hang on, the top comment on this. This is the official Randy Travis YouTube
Mhm.
channel. Top comment is, as an IT professional, AI is scary and I hate what it can do. But for Randy, I absolutely love this. This shows how AI should be used. Randy Travis is 100% involved with this and had his blessing, gave him his voice back, and gave fans a new song. That's the top comment. I agree that
Yeah.
like it's cool that the dude has a song and he's clearly happy that like in some aspect he can continue to be an artist, right?
So what happens when James Dean's second cousin comes out and goes, "We need a new James Dean movie,
Right.
and my family needs it, and we need that." And then
That's
Marilyn
the scary
Monroe
side.
comes out,
Right.
and then
Right.
Michael Jackson decides, his
Right.
estate wants to release a song. Like, how deep is this going to go?
And that's
Is
the
that
scary
great
part.
for them, commenter? Is that just an incredible thing? You all can hold hands and sing Kumbaya, you fucking idiot.
Well, that's the thing is, again, it's that double-edged sword of like this. I think this is a really great thing for Randy Travis, but it opens that door of, well, now that we can do it and it's been done, music is released and he is the artist for it. We're gonna have
I just wanna-
Elvis's estate and Michael
Yeah.
Jackson, people that don't have a say, capitalizing off somebody else's voice.
I just want to point out that I did say country was going to be the next one taken over by AI.
Right.
Shit, I mean, you're right. You're right.
I just want to point that out.
I just don't know if I would be okay with, like, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the spouse. I grew up with this person and I know that they used to sing, they could sing, they had a very successful country music career. They were very popular. They had a stroke. It was tragic. Now they can't sing anymore. This new doodad AI comes out and they can release new songs by him because of that. And he's totally gung-ho and wants to do it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel... It's still on that level. And granted, I'm not physically actually in that situation. But, like, from this outsider perspective, it still feels like it would be
Well,
weird. Or like being the kid of that
Yeah.
singer.
Well, it's the
It'd be
equivalent
weird.
of if Jordan, let's say all of us we're not able to get together to record this, and Jordan goes, "Hey, you know what, guys? Don't worry about it. I have enough episodes. I'm just going to put it into AI. It's going to make one for us."
Right,
We can't control what we're saying then at that point,
right.
but it's using our voice. Like, that's crazy when you think about that, right?
Oh, what?
But you know what I mean? Like, where do you draw that line?
And even if Randy Travis wrote the lyrics and like gave certain signs
Yeah.
for inflecting and
Yeah.
hold this note and make this word hold the note of this word longer and
Yeah. Which
know.
you'd assume is what happened.
right, you can assume he had that creative direction. Even still, it's like I would have a sense of me now. I'm putting myself in the shoes of Randy Travis. I would have a sense of unfulfillment still, because I'm not doing that. It might be the best that I can get, but
Yeah.
that's all it's gonna be. It's not the same, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
know that it's not the same.
Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me.
I'll say that. So the song's been out a couple weeks. It's in my liked music,
Mhm.
and it's come out a few times while I was
Yeah.
driving. Every time I can't not think about the fact that this isn't Randy Travis. singing.
Right,
Like,
right.
as detached as I may be, focused on the road, doing whatever, like anytime I hear it, at some point in the song, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird that this isn't a person.
Right, this is
This is-
all AI.
Yeah.
If I got a call from the old station and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna put together a show that you don't have to do anything for it. It's just gonna be your voice. It's gonna be an hour long. Are you cool with that?" Fuck no.
Right.
What if they pay you and it's handsomely?
Fuck no.
Well, it's- okay, here's-
that's
and
crazy to me.
Here's the thing. I think that's where the conversation gets so much more drastic is alive versus dead. Because it is that conversation. Any of us could sit here and we'd probably say, yeah, that's weird. I don't want my voice somewhere else. If I'm not,
Right.
just hire me. I'll come
Right.
do it. Like,
Right.
have the person do it.
Right.
Now, if one of us could never speak again, maybe we'd be more in the position of Randy Travis. But I think it's another level when you have an estate making the decision for someone they are
110%.
financially responsible for. So like Mac Miller, his
Right.
estate doesn't want his music released
Right.
that he had already made
Right.
and unreleased. But there's people that are in his circle, like you pointed out to me, that are releasing his unreleased songs
Right.
against his family's estate or trying to.
Exactly.
That'd be like them coming out now and saying, well, we don't want to release his music, but we're going to let him make new music with AI. We'll just sell the
Right.
rights to his voice and his name.
Right.
That's a crazy fucking concept.
I think the conversation definitely changes if the person is alive or dead, but I still stand on my ground of like, I think it's weird that Randy Travis himself is okay with that. If he knows in his heart of hearts that he's not the one singing, nor will he ever be able to sing those words. I still wouldn't feel comfortable having more music released under my name.
Because like I remember he sang, it was after his stroke, he sang a song with Carrie Underwood. And it wasn't great, but he could still like hit the notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was I Told You So.
And
That wasn't after his stroke.
No, they did a
they
did a
did a
thing.
version?
Yeah, they
Okay.
did, and I mean it was like he still hit
Yeah,
it all.
yeah.
You just, if you know the song, you know what he was saying.
And that is okay with me. If you want to sing it yourself and you can, and it's gonna sound broken and shambly, and you know,
I think that's okay.
that's okay. You're doing your best, and you're
Right.
still living in your truth. Using AI is not living in your truth, in my opinion.
Now I will say this.
That's like you're huffing copium.
because as far as I know, he writes all his own music too.
Right.
And I could say as a songwriter, and I don't know if he's written for anyone else or not.
Sure.
Yeah.
But as a songwriter, I could very much see him, being like, even if he has written for other people, being like, damn, I wrote this song. It's a very personal song. I don't
Right.
want someone else to sing it. And this is the chance he has to actually make sure this sees the light of day. I could see it from not even like a singer standpoint, but the songwriter standpoint of it. Of like, all right, this is, as much as I'm going to be able to release this song and release it the way I want it released.
Sure. I see that.
And I also want to put a prediction out that unfortunately, I don't think it's a good thing. I'm not excited for it. I think we're going to see another Elvis album.
Oh, I think we're gonna see a lot.
Because that whole estate is fucked.
I think we're gonna see another Elvis movie, dude.
They almost sold Graceland 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
That's
And
crazy.
the banks almost bought it.
That's
and his
crazy.
granddaughter had to step in and be like, "You don't have any legal right to this property."
she's like, you get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's AI, or that's off air.
This has all been AI.
Preceding program is a StylesRebelRadio.com production.